Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show. Where from the Fox School of Wines, Kirsten Fox is here.
Kirsten Wine. You can just call me that.
I thought we call you that. Yeah, Kirsten Fox. I'm thrilled to have you because I'm all about what we're about to talk about.
Oh my! Well, first,
a little Mine and Wine.
A little Mines and Wines tour that I've put together.
I like this idea an awful lot.
Well, it's got a couple different fun things going on, sir.
Thank you, dear.
Going on with our local area. So wine and mines, right?
Yeah.
So this is a Côte d'Aron.
I'm looking at this. It's got a little bit. This
little village.
Yeah.
This is actually a very small appellation in the Côte d'Aron region, and they actually appellate this as the village, which means the grapes can only come from the village of that area.
Right.
So it's actually
no mix, no blend, no nothing else.
Do you like my light in your eyes?
Contamination. I love it. It's great.
And so this is actually really awesome for $13 a bottle.
Wow, another good find from you. Let's take a little look. A little look-see.
It's good with toothpaste.
It pairs nicely with toothpaste.
Yeah, it pairs nicely with toothpaste. So I'll get into what this wine is paired with as we go through this new tour.
Let me see if I can.
What do you think?
See if I identify some things from class the other day.
Oh yes, you were a very good student.
I got a lot of stickers on my sheet.
Yes, you did.
This was a couple weeks ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, and they give stickers, like any good teacher does. And I think I had a good 10 stickers.
You had a lot of stickers. We were, you were the media. We were trying to bolster your ego.
Don't say that because everybody thinks I was knocking it out of the park. I did find, and this was, I'm going to say the highlight for me, was that I knew that one of the wines had been, the grapes had been picked early.
Yes.
Too early.
Which is actually really stunning, because that's a very refined palate that you picked out.
See.
He picked out this whole green pepper thing going on, and it was really that was a win.
It tasted a little bit like, didn't they say it was a little, like a little bit of vinegary flavor? It was like something wrong.
Yeah, kind of a little bit new. They picked the grapes too young, and that gives us vegetable kind of bell peppery.
Right, bell pepper is what I said.
Yep.
Yeah. So there you go. Cheers to
done.
that.
I know.
This, on the other hand, a dry finish. Yeah. So high alcohol content, right?
It's got about 13.5%, I think. Yeah. Let's see.
Okay, so not
you're right.
bad.
No, 14.
14.
Listen to you.
I know. I learned a lot. I pay attention.
2 grapes in this, Grenache and Syrah.
Okay.
Grenache tends to be pretty high in alcohol.
Okay.
So it's a really interesting grape because they use it a lot to blend.
Okay.
It's a really thin-skinned grape, so it doesn't give it a huge amount of body or character, but it adds to the alcohol. And then you've got Syrah, which is obviously a big, fat, bold grape that gives it the berry flavors and that kind of thing. So it's this is a famous blend out of a region in France called Côte d'Aron.
It's really nice.
And it's the Rhone region, and it's a great wine.
Now I'd say it's more than a cherry taste. This is more of a It's kind of almost a darker feel than that to me.
Syrah will usually have that, those dark
bolder,
berries.
richer.
Yeah, blackberries, currants.
There you go, currant.
Those deep,
That's
dark,
where I'm going.
Yeah, black fruits, not red fruits.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well done.
Dark is the right word, I guess.
Dark wine.
I'll take it.
You're so good.
An A student. That's all I want to hear. Really, just say that I'm an A+ student. I'm great.
A wine student. No detention awarded to you either.
I love it. Yeah, because we know in detention we just get to drink more wine.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so this is going to be fun because you're going to go to several different places and sort of talk about the history as well as pairing up a wine with it, right?
Yes, I'm putting together a new tour. It's called Mines and Wines. And it's a 5-stop afternoon tour.
It goes fun.
Yeah, super fun. It goes from all the way up at Montage down to the red light district. We start
we have a red light district?
Yes. So we started at Montage, but then we go to Ontario, which George Hurst was involved in. Hurst was actually involved in lots of mines in the area. But at this time in his life, he'd been overextended. Yeah. And his little boy, William Randolph, at this time, because they had to put so much money into the Ontario mine, they had to let go of their servants. And little William Randolph had to go to public school for a little while. I know. And so that Ontario ended up giving $50 million of ore, which today's day money is like $330 million. So pretty big stuff. So then we moved from the Ontario mine to the, what do you think this is?
I'm guessing we're talking hospital,
Yes, Miners Hospital. And we talk about that being opened in 1904. We talk a little bit about that history, where it was first built, which was up close to Park City Mountain Resort. Because it had fresh air away from the town and beautiful vistas and
fresh
views.
Air was actually a deal then. To find any was, you'd be lucky, because they were actually doing that, a little bit of the work of getting the ore separated right here, right?
And it smelled, I mean, like the actual chemicals going into the air, it wasn't really good to smell.
Wow.
That good stuff.
All right.
So that's the Miners Hospital. We move on to the Spiro Tunnel, which is where the Rhone wine is paired. Now, we have finer wines on this tour.
Right.
For your show this morning, $15 is my cap.
Of course. I'm a cheap date.
You're a cheap date. But we have nicer, but a Rhone wine is paired because the tunnel had two different purposes. It had first a mining purpose. They used it to get water out of the Thames Canyon area, and they transported miners in that way. But then in the early 60s, when they opened Park City Mountain Resort, it became a skier shuttle.
That's right.
And it was officially called the Skier Subway. And so because it has two different grapes or two different purposes, the Rhone wines have two different grapes, and they're all so friendly.
I love this.
And then we end up, if you'd like to.
We're not going to talk about this one yet.
We're not?
I want to save it. I want to save it for a minute. Is that okay? Because this is the big reveal. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and continue our conversation with Kirsten Fox, the Fox School of Wine. You're going to want to find out what the last stop on the tour is right after this. Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show, where it's all minds and wines here with Kirsten Fox of the Fox School of Wine. And we're, first of all, trying a really nice Rhone, which is quite nice, right? This is a Rhone as well?
This is a Côte de Rhone Village. And one of the things, and I just swirled my glass. And one of the things you do, one of the reasons you swirl wine is because the aromas then, and wine glasses are shaped like a bowl for a reason. We've talked about this in class, but the aromas are lifted off the liquid and into the bowl, so that then when you go to drink it, your nose is the wafting, beautiful aromas are coming up to your nose as you're sipping, which is why it's not so fun to drink wine when you've got a cold, because you just can't smell it. Because about 80% of the information that we get from wine is from our nose. So
how about that?
Yeah. So. Oh, yeah, as this has been in the glass just for the last few minutes, it's opening up to really get those dark berries.
Now we also look for the legs, right?
Yeah, the legs are interesting, although in this glass you can't really see them. But
a little bit.
Legs are interesting because they either, the thick, viscous legs either indicate, did we talk about this in class?
Yeah, the level of alcohol.
Oh,
right?
Bam. Level of alcohol.
Yeah.
It also can mean high sugar, either of those two things, as you can imagine, like a
So this one has a little bit of a sugar, because we also know it has 14% alcohol.
It's
so
it had some
legs.
Yep, got some legs.
Had some sugar.
Had some sugar. The sugar all got eaten.
Now they come down pretty quick,
yeast.
but they're coming down in like very much in sections.
I'm really impressed. Your glasses are better than mine, obviously. So.
All right.
Oh yeah, I can see that in the inside there.
Yeah.
So that's this beautiful Rhone paired to the Spiro Tunnel.
Okay.
And I'll take my oh yes, and would you please put on the last stop of the tour? I mean, is the Red Light District.
Yes, we have one.
Yes, we did have one. Well, I don't know if we would consider us still having. I don't think the people living there.
Now. Well, I mean, it still is what it is, or what it was.
What it was.
What it was.
So, the early 1900s, Mother Urban was the madam of our brothel, which was located about where that new Church's public house was.
Yeah.
shortly,
Yeah.
for a short-lived experience. And the town got all up in arms about 1907 and said, this is just, it's shameless that we have these people, shameful that we have these people in our on our main street. So they were forced to move up Deer Valley Drive.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Those little houses that are left at the bottom of Rossi Hill Drive and kind of Deer Valley Drive there. That was the cute little tiny ones. Those were the old red light houses. And the women all, and really Mother Urban was fabulous. She actually took care of her girls. In fact, they had health care, which is unheard of at that time. They made a very good wage, way more than the miners were making in the mines each day. And believe it or not, prostitutes in the U.S. were some of the only women who could own property. So these women were actually way out further ahead than some of the other women.
Yeah, way ahead of their contemporaries.
Exactly. And so in the red light district, although we probably should be drinking whiskey, we are a wine school. So we pair it with port, which is a sweet wine, a dessert wine, and sweet wines were all the rage early 1900s. So this was it. It wasn't necessarily port they were drinking in the red light district, but
a poor version of port.
A poor version of port or whiskey. Yes, exactly.
Well,
so
there you go.
That's where we end up, and then everyone's had a tour of the area. They've had wines paired with these locations, and they've learned a lot about Park City history.
This is great. So when can we do this tour?
So I am developing this to start early in December, and we'll have a schedule launched, and at the beginning here it'll be quite limited, and as we try to get it all dialed in.
All right. Well, the idea here is when you bring people into town, and you obviously want to spend some time with them, and maybe you want to go on the tour with them, but more than likely you need a night away. Right?
Not night. This is afternoon. This is afternoon drinking.
Exactly. You need that afternoon, a little break maybe from the mountain. Yeah. Send them on the wine tour. Let them go check out the wines, the Mines and Wines with Kirsten Fox at the Fox School of Wine. Thank you so much as always.
A pleasure.
Learned a lot every time we do. That's the whole point. You should learn more about what you're drinking, more about your wine, so you can find the one that pairs perfectly with what you're eating. Much more to come here on the Mountain Morning Show. We will be right back.